Good afternoon, one and all. This is Vijay Sonawane, a higher education and career community host, and I welcome all of you. As you all know, that Thinkly is a platform where we curate content for like-minded people. It's a community for students, professionals, educators, or whoever is interested in higher education and career. We connect, learn, and grow together, right? Whether you are a student just starting out or a professional looking for new opportunities, this is the right platform for you. And today I'm very happy to present you another exciting session. And as you all know, the topic is cracking NDA code. When I say NDA, it has no political linkage. I'm talking about National Defense Academy. So how do you crack one of the toughest exam, which is meant for armed forces? So, so let me talk about it little later, create a context for all of you. So life in the armed forces is a roller coaster of adrenaline and discipline, camaraderie, and sacrifice. Imagine waking up to the Buggle's call, the crisp air invigorating your lungs as you embark on a rigorous training session. Picture yourself scaling mountains, rappelling down cliffs, and conquering physical and mental challenges that push you beyond your perceived limits. Then there is an unwavering bond forged in the fires of shared experiences. You'll stand shoulder to shoulder with your brothers and nowadays sisters in arms, facing danger and uncertainty together. The feeling of dependence and trust that blossoms in such moment is unlikely anything else. But beyond the thrill and adventure lies the unwavering commitment to duty and service. You all stand guard over nation's border, protecting its people from harm. You'll be the first line of defense in times of crisis, the unwavering resolve that keeps the country safe. Life in the armed forces is not for the faint of heart. It is a path demanding immense dedication, resilience, and a deep seated love for your country. But for those who choose it, it is a life of unparalleled honor, purpose, and a sense of belonging that transcend the ordinary. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we have three people or team of Colonel Atul Mishra, who's going to help us understand what is armed forces life, what is NDA and everything. And that we will surely talk about it. But it is my immense pleasure to introduce Colonel Atul Mishra to all of you. Colonel Atul Mishra is a retired artillery officer with penchant of training. He has done his schooling from Sainiki School, Rewa. He has been trained in National Defense Academy itself. And then, as a process, he went to Indian Military Academy, IMA, Dehradun. Then he was commissioned in artillery and has served in all borders. He has successfully commanded artillery regiment on Pakistan border. He is an instructor in gunnery and has been associated with training officers of Indian as well as foreign armies as a trainer in coordinating with training events and training the trainers. He is highly qualified. He has done his MSc in technology, MA in English, PGD in international relations, MBA in HR. He's a qualified NET professional and is doing his PhD. I don't think so that he's going to stop anytime soon. He is a certified career mentor and a corporate trainer. He has a passion for training children, teachers, and parents with an aim of empowering the children in making correct career decisions, understanding the career path, and preparing for successful career in futuristic environment. And I'm really happy today that he's joined by two of his students. One is Surbhi Jain. Surbhi has already cleared her CDSE and AFCAT. She she did that in 5 times, okay, and she was selected. She even cracked SSB, which is again most critical selection process in the armed forces, 3 times. And soon she's going to join Air Force Academy as a fighter pilot, right, Subi?
So as a technical flying officer.
As a technical flying officer. Okay, and she's also helping Colonel Atul currently in training student on NDA written exam as well as SSB interview. And we also have Hitakshi with us. Hitakshi is currently pursuing her engineering in computer science, and she has qualified NDA written exam 2 times. So she is a great resource for us to understand how was her kind of experience with NDA written exam. So welcome Colonel Atul Mishra, welcome Surbhi, welcome Hitakshi, welcome to Thinkly community of higher education and careers.
Thank you, Vijay.
Okay, it's pleasure to have you. Yes, it's pleasure to have you all. So let me ask you, Colonel Atul, that you started your career in uniform. I think as young as when you were in 8th grade, when you joined Sainik school, or maybe prior to that?
6th.
Oh, you joined in 6th. Okay, so how many long years you were wearing olive green?
Almost 40 years.
Almost 40 years. Oh my God. Such a long time. Great. Okay, so Colonel Atul, just tell me how it all started. What motivated you to join Sainik school to start with, and then NDA, and I'm sure you'll go on.
Now to start with, I was studying in Hindi medium, and I did my schooling in almost 4 schools before 6th. And when I was in class 6th, there's a time when my father happened to go through this newspaper advertisement about entrance to Sainik school. He trained me at home, and I was lucky to have got in that year. It was my father's dream to see one of his sons as army officer, and that is what kept motivating me from home. And of course, Sainik schools are the places where all sorts of training is done with the aim of preparing cadets for NDA. Now, when that happens, you're already through a good entrance examination and already selected candidates, and lots of co-curricular activities, which actually is required for genuine personality development. An excellent lot of teachers, a very good friends circle, very competitive environment, and first attempt, without even realizing much, I was in NDA. So to that extent, I am much less experienced about SSB, which I now coach for, than quite a few of my candidates who have gone to SSB many times more than I have done.
Okay. Good. Okay, so you mean to say that, then there was no SSB to join NDA?
SSB has been there since the NDA has come into existence. And SSB has almost not changed. Now, let me tell you just a couple of things about the SSB. The DIPR, the Defense Institute of Psychological Research, is the one which controls the SSB process and the organization. This is the only interview in the country which goes on for 5 days. Now, this is the only interview in which 3 independent assessors who are fully trained and qualified in selection process test you independently in different methods. And in the end, They jointly sit down and decide whether this candidate is fit enough to be made an officer. Now, every officer you see in defense forces, army, navy, or air force, unless for very specialized ones like doctors, except them, probably everybody has had to go through the SSB. Without being selected by the service selection boards, nobody becomes an officer in army, navy, or air force. And
Okay.
SSB has been in existence since the NDA came into force and has not changed much. They take lots of samples of all the candidates who are selected and rejected, and they do modify those processes. But if I may take the liberty, almost 90% of the SSB for which I train now is almost same as what I had gone through as a cadet, and all my friends have gone through.
Okay. 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 Fantastic. So before we get into the whole preparation part of it, I just wanted to understand from you, how is life at NDA? And whenever I interact with officers, and I also have a lot of my batchmates who are into Air Force, Indian Army, as well as in Navy. Because I also come from a little military background. I was in a military school. Okay, I think that's a common factor in both of us. And people talk about officers like qualities. Okay, now for me, officers like quality is can be as vague as, oh, what do you mean by that? I mean, asking questions like, oh, what do you mean by that? And what all things constitute in those qualities. So, can you just give us some insight around those officers like qualities and how they are groomed in NDA?
The first thing is the officer like qualities as checked in your personality during the SSB process. There are 15. They've been specified. And however, not getting into those psychologists' jargons and trying to say that this is this and this is this and this is this, which is a reasonably difficult task to explain because the psychologists have drawn different meanings out of the same words, and most of the qualities are interconnected reasonably. I may just say that what defense services require, with my experience of having gone through 5 courses senior to me in NDA and 5 courses junior to me, and throughout my life having had those 400 chefs as my course mates, all of them SSB qualified, and then interacting with everybody in my life who has been SSB qualified. What I can now make out when I look back and when I am a trainer now, what we basically require is good chaps. A chaps who's reasonably little high on IQ, that is a little better than average. Then he must have a good attitude for learning and grasping. If I may say so, he should have good trainable qualities to be a physically fit person. Just that much. NDA entrance examination or SSB does not have too much of physical tests, but they just check the basics. ठीक ठाक होने चाहिए, बंदे का एटीट्यूड होना चाहिए, करेज होना चाहिए, ठीक है, फिजिकली सीखने की इच्छा होनी चाहिए. So much for the physical capabilities. Then mentally he should be able to grasp things. I mean, whatever we said or read, he should be able to grasp, analyze it, and then connect it to real life. Now, this is one part is actually missing in our education system, because till about 12th, we go more on the memory. Teachers even dictate the bloody answers. So that part to analyze, take decisions, and then, of course, be able to apply it in real life is one part which requires improvement. So that's so much for the grasping and intake. The next thing that we require is that the candidate should be able to express effectively, both in written and verbal oral communication. I will not say verbal because when you speak, you again get into those verbal and non-verbal parts. But then, rightly, if a chap is physically reasonably fit, if he can grasp things well, if he can analyze and connect it to real life, and then communicate it effectively, written and oral, I think we have our candidate. He should have a little bit of sense of responsibility, a decent sense of humor, right? And थोड़ा सा बदमाश होना चाहिए. मतलब we are not actually creating a army of saints, right? And we don't want कि आपने एक थप्पड़ मारा है तो कृपया मेरे को एक और बार दीजिए. No, no, no. That we are looking for more of Chandrasekhar Azad and Bhagat Singh and Subhash Chandra Bose. They are the ones in olive greens. Right. So basically, what we are looking for is lively people, vibrant youngsters. Badmash.
Okay. Well, I mean, let me turn to Surbhi because he's soon to be an officer. Okay. And how you look at these officers like qualities and how you have groomed, if you can just share few anecdotes from your training, okay, and the time you were preparing yourself for NDA, I mean, for CDSE.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, I'm a student of Atul sir, and he only told me about what are officer-like qualities and then how to groom. So, well, there are 15 officer-like qualities. He mostly enhances on that everyone have these qualities, but the way you project yourself. There are people who come from a background where they haven't got the environment where they are speaking in English, or they haven't had the opportunity to participate into physical activities as such. So sir told me to focus on two main things. One was the physical aspect and one was the knowledge aspect and expressing it. So he told me to work on my physical fitness. I was a slightly heavy child. So I used to run a lot. I did weight training. I improved my physical fitness. That gave me a lot of confidence. So confidence is one of the officer-like quality, which I got confidence, courage. These are few things, strength, stamina, which I got from the physical exercise. So in my routine, I included this thing that every morning I would wake up and I would run. Running became a hobby of mine. So I started from 400 meter. Now I run 10 kilometers. So this was one thing which helped me a lot in gaining confidence in my SSBs. And then, so there was this thing of expressing yourself. So sir helped me in framing my lecturates or narrations. When you read a topic, how you should grasp that knowledge. You should what are the key factors that you should drive out of that topic, and how you should explain that topic. So on regular basis, sir would give me one topic to prepare, one topic one day. I would prepare that topic and then I would deliver a lecturate upon that topic. So that slowly and steadily improved my grasp about what are international relations, what is journal awareness, what is happening in world, and how is it impacting India. So that holistically improved my knowledge base. And now I have my own opinion about each and everything. So these are two things, just working on this holistical approach of understanding things. This helped me a lot. And then the other is physical workout. Of course, if you want to be an officer, you should be physically fit. So these two things helped me a lot.
Of course. Thank you, Surbhi. That was very, very good. Okay, so coming back to you, Colonel Atul, I mean, now I understand that, yes, you require certain prerequisites, and that helps you to, clear NDA, clear SSB, and you get into NDA. So in NDA, so you remain there for 3 years, right? 3 years. So how those qualities are sharpened further? Okay, how NDA basically helps you or rather groom the cadets?
The best thing about NDA is that you're 16 when you join. So you actually are in the correct place to get groomed for life. That's the right age. And if you have the right attitude, and that's what they select in the SSB, you have the right attitude, right prerequisites, a group of already selected cadets. Everybody is selected. They're not random street walkers. In Shashi Tharoor's language, I wouldn't like to say them. Cattle class. Okay, so they are basically all selected people, and then you give them rigorous training and free interaction with juniors and seniors. That is how you learn everything that is required to be a happy and successful person in life. I will not only say in armed forces, but as a leader. Everywhere, right? Wherever you grow, you'll grow into a good leadership zone. Here, you are trained, right? The routine starts with PT in the morning, followed by drill. Then you go through the classes and graduation classes, academics. In academics, the entire syllabus has been made only for NDA by JNU. I mean, Vijay, you may not be knowing, we are the only graduates of JNU, JNU being a postgraduate university. So
Yes.
we are the only graduates from there. And I have learned carpentry, I have learned blacksmithy, I had done my physics, mathematics as an art student in my graduation. Now everything was tailor-made for defense forces. So that was for the academics. And then in the evening, rigorous games, 1.5 hours, all games, all competitions. Every squadron has got 6 teams to be made. So anybody has to be a part of one or the other teams, because बच्चे भी उतने ही होते हैं. And then in the night, other than the seniors training, other than the official training, there are seniors. तो वहां पर अच्छा दबा करके रगड़ा भी होता है, सिखलाई भी होती है, ट्रेनिंग भी होती है, फिजिकल, and the entire punishment cycle or the ragda cycle of NDA, I must say 99% plus is physical, because they believe that healthy mind lives only in a healthy body. So 100 push-ups, 150 push-ups, 200 push-ups meant nothing to me when I was in NDA. 10-mile run. People used to say कि यार संडे को कुछ करने को नहीं है तो चलो 10 mile करके आया. Well, it was that type. A 10 mile, if I may say so, it's 16 kilometers run.
Yes.
Right. तो वो तो ऐसे ही दौड़ने चले जाते थे. So with that physical fitness and of course the mental attributes that go along with ragging going on, you're not allowed to sleep, and you're short of sleep, and you're interacting freely with all your peers and friends and seniors and juniors, actually grooms the leadership. And when you actually get out of NDA like institute, you actually know that you can conquer the world. You're on top.
Correct.
You just have to decide कि मैंने ये करना है, and you can do it, and you know it, and that's what is NDA. You have to pass your PT tests, you have to pass your drill test, you have to pass your swimming test, you have to pass 7-meter jump, you have to pass your riding tests, you have to pass your academics, you have to be in the discipline fitness, you can't afford to lose out on medical things. You said you completed NDA in 3 years, no? The first worry of Atul Mishra when I joined NDA was कि यार ये 3 साल में ही खत्म होना चाहिए. Because the minute you plug in one test, you repeat 6 months. That's called relegation. So there are people who complete 3 years NDA in 4 years. But I wanted कि भाई जैसा ज्वाइन किया है उसी कोर्स के साथ निकलना है. 3 साल, thank you God, very nice. We are done.
A great takeaway for me. You said, healthy mind lives in a healthy body. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. I mean, I think all our, especially the student viewers, this is a great takeaway. Just, see now the new year is coming. I think you must, resolve and, start, working on your physical fitness. Yeah. So one of our viewer, Rashi, would like to, understand from you any memorable experience during your NDA times.
The NDA is full of memories, right? Memorable experience. There was this friend of mine who was good in everything, but somehow he had a scare for jumping from heights. So in NDA, we have to pass that 7-meter test, 7-meter jump into the pool. In commando, it's 20 meters, but In NDA, it's just 7 meters. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to climb, go up to the diving board, or and then jump from there. And it has to be a very straight jump, and because if you bend a little, then your chin or your stomach will get the brunt, and anything can happen, depending on the impact that you get. थोड़ा scary होता है when you go to that height. You don't see the pool that size. you know it looks that you may fall out of the pool. But anyway, yeah, so this chap was scared, and I'll not name him because he's still there, so it's
Okay.
not need to name him. But yes, this fellow went up, and since he was scared, and everybody in the course knew that he was scared. So this fellow was standing on the 7 meter board, and then he walked towards the edge, stopped, and now everybody was cheering him because we knew that he was scared. He said, "Come on, come on, come on, come on." This fellow stood there and then came back few steps. So he was goaded 3 minutes, 4 minutes by the instructor from below. There was a captain sir who was there, and this fellow won't budge. So finally, the captain sahab, who was in PT dress with his trousers, PT shoes, proper shirt, and a pullover because it was probably winters, and the instructor was, I think, if I remember correctly, was Sardar. So he was wearing a pagdi also. So the instructor said, "If you're not jumping, then I'm coming up." So they said, "Sir, please don't." Again, that drama went on for a few minutes. And finally, the instructor, in all his PT attire, he went up. And now the student he turned towards the instructor, and the instructor was walking very confidently कि मैंने तो इसको push करना ही है. So the student said, "Sir, you please don't come. I'll jump." So the student went to the edge of the diving board and stood there looking at the instructor कि वो तो नहीं आ रहा है. So the instructor was very quietly standing few steps behind. So this fellow was looking at the water and then at the instructor and then at the instructor and then at the water. So finally what happened, that when that fellow was looking at the water, the instructor thought it was his opportunity. And all of us were cheering from down below. We were all in swimming costumes and cheering. So when this fellow was looking at the water, the instructor thought it was his moment. So he ran and pushed this guy. But the guy had anticipated this.
Oh my God.
So what he did is he turned around and caught the instructor. So after some time, this fellow came out of the pool. Instructor का पहले पगड़ी ऊपर आया. And then बाद में पूरा PT dress में instructor with his PT shoes and everything coming out. And then you can imagine, for next 3 days, our course, we had some good fun, good punishment round, because NDA का rule है, एक बंदा गड़बड़ करता है, पूरा course मजे लेता है. So we all had our share of PT. We all got toughened up.
Right. Good.
I hope that satisfies you, Rashi.
Yeah, it was very, very funny, and I hope Rashi would have also enjoyed that. Okay, let's coming back to the NDA and the whole selection process. So I think the first comes is the written test. Okay, what it constitute and how students need to prepare for it. What are your practical tips?
Hitakshi has cleared this twice, both the times she appeared. Would Hitakshi please, if you are there, can you please help us?
Yes, sure. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So the NDA paper, it mainly consists of two parts. The first one is the mathematics, and the second one is the GAT, General Ability Test. Now, in the General Ability Test, it comprises of all the parts starting from physics, chemistry, bio, geography, history, civics, economics. English is the major portion for the starting part of the GAT, and then the rest of the subjects. Coming to the paper-wise preparation, first of all, there's the mathematics paper, which lasts for 3 hours. Now, in that paper, there are all the basic parts which the student might be studying already in the 11th or the 12th class, and all the basics that come in the 10th class. So the time when the NDA paper starts, or the a candidate starts preparing for NDA, it's generally the candidate is in either class 11th or 12th. So we are already aware about the basics of the mathematics, physics, and chemistry. I would say the physics or chemistry part is not that tough because the GAT part is mostly of the 10th class level. So for that, we are already prepared. In mathematics, only the basics need to be covered. And if we analyze the paper, we'll see that it is the mostly the basics part which come for the algebra and the integers, calculus, and all the basic ideas. So, for preparing for maths particularly, the candidate should previously focus on the basics and then go about for the PYQs, the last year question papers. Firstly, without the time bound, and after some time with the time bound, so that the candidate is clear about the pattern of the questions that are being asked, and then prepare accordingly. On to analyzing about which parts is the candidate weak in, and which part he or she has to work on. Coming to the GAT part, which is the second paper, it is also of 3 hours, and it consists of mainly the English and then followed by the rest other subjects. For the English part, mostly there is grammar, antonyms, synonyms. Then there are passages which the candidate need to read and solve the answers. For that, the candidate should mainly focus on grammar and the general languages. They can either read novels or books if they are interested to improve their English so that they can efficiently answer those antonyms, synonyms in the limited time. And for the physics, chemistry, and the rest subjects, I would suggest that they mainly focus on the basics and whatever is taught in the school till the 10th grade, because those are the basics which come in the NDA paper. And if we talk about overall strategy, candidates are mostly preparing for other competitive exams as well. Like if someone is aspiring to be an engineer, they're already preparing for JEE. So it is pre-assumed that the basics would be clear. So if we analyze 2 or 3 previous year question papers, we'll see that there are most of the parts which were easy to cover, and we can easily cover those for getting into covering at least the passing marks. And rest is all the strategies that we plan according to the personal experience for the rest of the paper.
Okay, thank you, Vitakshi. I think that you covered it in a very very detailed manner. Atul, from your side, I mean, what would be your take on this?
You see, the basic layout of NDA paper is based on your 10th, 11th, and 12th, because we are looking for candidates who have got all sorts of backgrounds, science backgrounds and even bio backgrounds or even arts backgrounds. For appearing for Air Force and Navy, you have to be a science student, but for NDA Army, you need not be. But however, they have a maths paper, right? So the entire general studies is based on 10th class, because it is assumed that you have that knowledge. The specialized ones thereafter are much lesser in content, except for the maths paper. Maths paper में थोड़ा सा tough जाता है उन बच्चों को जिन्होंने maths PCM लिया नहीं है 11th and 12th. But like Hitakshi said, if you are clear about this syllabus, you know your shortcuts and methodology for multiple choice questions, and you have gone through few last year papers, you are generally on the correct lines. One thing which is very important is where my students generally go wrong is in that pressure for doing well and doing it in time. They don't read the questions correctly. Read the question correctly. You get a definite clue about where the Gundi is, where he has twisted the word, what is he actually looking at. If the children can develop that little bit of insight into that question and catch it in the question, they'll find things much easier.
This is very, very critical, Atul, and it's been my experience, like, whenever a student write essay, I always tell them that, please see what is being asked. Okay, because you have to comprehend that, and I think you kind of saying the same thing, that comprehending that particular question is very, very critical in order to solve that question, right? Because if you comprehend it wrong, you're going to implement maybe wrong theorem or maybe wrong steps. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Right. How long, if someone decides to prepare for NDA, how long one need to invest in order to have a good preparation?
My opinion, if you have done your 10th well and you have generally been a good student, if you have done your 11th and 12th well, then 2 to 3 months is more than enough.
Okay.
More than enough, much more than enough. But if you have not been such a good student or consistent, और आपने केवल important questions पढ़ के या उस तरह की partial reading करके examinations pass किए हैं for various reasons, then you will require about 6 months. Because 10th का syllabus तो पूरा का पूरा 100% हर subject का जरूरी है.
Okay.
So the children who are in 11th, like this boy Tanishk, who has come to me lately, he's in 11th. Is the right frame of mind, absolutely correct है, तभी अभी पास हुई है, fresh है, थोड़ा थोड़ा टच अप करता जा रहा है 11th में 12th में. This boy will not require even a month.
Right.
Because if you are थोड़ा थोड़ा करके चल रहे हैं ना 11th 12th में, syllabus तो वही है बेचे.
Right.
It is just that MCQ kind of things have to be practiced. That's my opinion. Surbhi has been teaching, and Hitakshi also has been a student on the other side. You may ask them also what is their opinion about the timings.
Okay, good. So you clear your written exam, and you then no. I'm saying once a student clear his written exam, then he gets a call for a SSB interview.
Yeah.
Right? Now, how one need to prepare for SSB interview? What that training is all about? How you groom them?
You want to take it straight from me or पहले सुरभि से पूछ ले? She has seen it very recently from both sides.
Yeah,
we can
go to Surbhi. Yeah, why not? Yes.
Okay. So, well, sir only trained me, and the training goes something like where it's not the SSB that you have to prepare for. SSB is basically your personality test. So you need to improve your personality and how you present yourself. The officer-like qualities which we have already talked about, how you project each and every quality, how effectively you do work in your day-to-day life, how well organized your life is, how much clarity do you have in your vision when you look for future. That is the approach with which sir trained me. There are various training institutes and people guiding and coaching about the SSB. However, we never talk about how to clear SSB. Sir helped me in clearing SSB, but he never said I am coaching you for clearing SSB. He just worked on improving my personality. So I would normally call him and I would talk to him about my life in journal, and he'll tell me how I can take better decisions on regular basis. So having a good routine, when you are following a good routine in which you are reading, you are improving your knowledge base, where you are doing physical workout, you are improving your strength, stamina, where you are giving equal time to your friends and family, you are dedicated for your profession, you're following your passion, you have your hobbies, and you're giving time to your hobbies. When you have this holistical approach, and when you practice these things over a period of time, your personality starts improving. So that is one approach which was working on your personality. And that was for constant amount of time. So it's not like you will change your personality overnight, but then yes, in few months, in few weeks, it might vary from person to person. Some people can change in 6 months, some take a year, some take 2 years. So I have been connected to sir. I kept on working on myself. Then one SSB, two SSB, three SSB. It the recommendations keep on coming. You just need to work upon yourself, and in every aspect on regular basis, you need to improve. Once you are given a task, you need to complete that task, and then you need to think how you could have done it better, and then you need to improvise it next time. And this process of improvising keeps on, it's a constant process that continues over a period of time, and I think that's one approach which I followed for my SSB.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Vijay,
So,
Vijay, Vijay,
yes,
before I give my my 2 words on this, may I request you to give 1 minute to Hitakshi also. She
yes,
she
yes.
she is she is a very good student, very good candidate. Not only for armed officers but otherwise also. She's a good candidate. She has been a little unfortunate. पता नहीं क्या थोड़ा बहुत गड़बड़ करके आती होगी. But otherwise, her opinion would I think appeal to your students more because she is also a teenager, just there, just a little senior to your students. So may I request you
Okay.
to give a minute to
Yeah,
Hitakshi?
why not? Why not? By all means, Hitakshi. Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So, sir, I would like to add what already Surbhi ma'am said. We have been course mates, batch mates. So we have equally seen Atul sir and interacted with him. So our opinions are quite similar on Atul sir's take. So sir calls himself as personality development coach and not SSB coach. So as she said, as she mentioned that he focuses more on improving the personality and preparing the candidate more for life and then for SSB and armed forces. He focuses on small qualities of students, which not necessarily be OLQs that the SSB sees, but helps the candidate do better in overall life. I've also seen in myself that how I have improved in organizational skills, on thinking positive about life. We discuss in our classes that how you can train your brain to be doing things in your daily life according to the pattern which is followed in armed forces, that is improving your organizational skills by doing small things like if you're getting up in the morning, make your bed, so that habit of organizing your thoughts and doing things organized is there in your head, so that when you're in SSB you're automatically organized. You need not to project it and doing it deliberately, but it is already fed in your head. Then, when you are going for lecturate, you're already organized in your heads about what key points you need to speak and deliver to the audience so that we get it better. So, this is what we practice in our daily classes. We take a topic, we make key points, we organize them in a way that the audience get it better and people who are listening understand what you're trying to comprehend. So, this is how we prepare on daily basis, not particularly for the SSB, but for your life and routine in general.
I think you're bang on. I mean, it's so critical. And I just cannot resist. When is your next batch coming up, Colonel Atul? I would like to enroll. I know I cannot appear for NDA, I mean SSB, but yes, it will be a huge value add to me. Fantastic. Okay, so your take on that.
Okay, I only have to say this. I mean, the way we go about it and the way my thought process is, my both students have already told you, and they're helping me train others also, because that is one aspect which if they do, then they become more perfect in themselves. When they help others grow that way. My only saying is that don't come for SSB training after you have got a call letter. SSB is a personality test, whatever the candidate has developed over his entire lifetime. My take right now is if you are in a good school, take part in every school activity. You are preparing for the SSB. Per se, for SSB alone, it is only the current affairs that should be the one that you have to focus on. Rest of it should be in your personality already by then. By the time you're clearing your 11th and 12th, and that's why I am so thankful to you. That boy Tanish, he has come to me at the right age. So you said ना कि जब रिटर्न पास हो जाता है आपके पास SSB कॉल लेटर आ जाता है, how do you prepare for SSB then? Then only current affairs, Vijay. Your
Correct.
confidence, your communication, your courage, your social adjustments, your sense of responsibility, all that should have already been done when you were up to 12. And the only
Yes.
thing that a person can teach you is how to project these qualities in limited tests. So
Okay.
that's also important, projecting and communicating, right? But other than that, SSB requires no preparation, actually.
Okay, thank you. I think this was the biggest myth I think you have busted, right? I think people have, that, oh, SSB interview must be that means something, out of the world or whatever. I mean, anyway, I'll ask you that question, but before that, I'm very eager to ask you this. See, whenever we talk about armed forces, okay, we talk about a huge kind of mental resilience or mental toughness, right? And I think it is one of the parameter, I suppose, is also tested when you are undergoing the SSB interview, right? And I guess, I mean, it may be a officers like a quality, I'm not aware, but how do you inculcate mental toughness in a student in a day-to-day life?
You see, the actual quality that probably is said as such is determination,
Determination.
right? Because determination actually means overcoming all the resistance and continuing to be in the same path. That's your determination, right? Now, how do you do it in daily life? Now, set small goals, achieve them, and reward yourself. And then set another small and challenging goal and achieve it, and then reward yourself. Now, be it a particular chapter on a particular day, कि मैंने physics का आज 7th chapter खत्म करना है. Now, that's a task. You want to make it more challenging, you say 6 घंटे में खत्म करना है. And you want to do Ganesh Puja, you say, I am going to organize the best Ganesh Puja in town, right? Challenge yourself. Get involved. I think what I was expecting Hitachi, what she didn't say was that in this process, we have something called process memory. Your neurons are set in a chain in which the process memory is stored. So any similar situation, the neurons take no time to tell you, yeah, it has to be done like this. I mean, without your knowing, it goes. For example, हम drill करते हैं, left foot forward is the first one. You say तेज चल and बाया पैर ही निकलता है. I am sure military school, they taught you बाया पैर only, right? So now what happens? Why that बाया पैर comes out? It is a neurons का chain है और process memory है. Similarly, if you put your positive thinking, if you put your courage, if you put your sense of responsibility, and all such qualities in your day-to-day life, and irrespective of hardships, continue to be there, you are developing that mental toughness. It starts with this. In NDA, it gets reinforced because you have decided to come to an institute and become an officer. You will go through tough training. There will be times when you will, in every batch, 10-12-15 बच्चे तो भाग जाते हैं. After having joined, they run away because they can't take it. SSB probably has made a mistake. Okay, but yes, those who continue, they have that right attitude. Then they are trained in physical toughness. Physical toughness के साथ साथ mental toughness भी आती है. Because if you are mentally weak, you can't take that kind of physical exercises the way they make you do in NDA. So physical toughness के साथ साथ mental exercise भी आती है. And you are supported actually by your colleagues. Because you are not doing it alone. And you say कि यार अगर ये भी कर सकता है तो ये क्यों नहीं कर सकते? When I joined NDA, I was 39 kgs. I was shortest, I was smallest. The nearest weight group to me was 45 kgs in my course. So he was also 6 kgs more than me. And now when my friends see me and they say, यार हमको ना आश्चर्य होता था साले तू इतना छोटा है and तू सब कुछ कर रहा था. So तेरे को देख करके हम लोगों को जोश आता था कि no, we can't give up. मतलब छोटू तो कर रहा है. You know, and now they tell me कि साले हम तब तेरे को देख करके we used to admire you कि तू छोटा था. But it's all here, the mental toughness.
Yes.
If you think
Yes.
you can do it, you can. And if you think you can't do it, you actually can't, because you'll give up.
Right, right, right. I think I'll definitely ask you one more question as we will conclude. But I just wanted to, for everyone's, understanding, how the SSP looks like those 5 days. Can you give us like how students are tested, what kind of activities? If you can just give us, because we are very curious. What happens in those closed doors.
Okay, no closed doors. Presently, the screening process is there. So almost 300 odd candidates land up for a batch. Little time to interact with each other, but then they go through those two screening tests. One is called OIR and the second is called the PPDT. And at the end of the PPDT, the candidates who are required to go back. So almost 90% of the people who report on the first day go back. The basic reason is either they don't have the qualities or they are not able to project those qualities or should display those qualities in those tests. So
And
you have to work on.
how long that test happens?
Now, the screening OIR is just about, let me say, an hour, 1 hour. And PPDT, 5 minutes for story writing, 1 minute of your narration, and 10 minutes of group discussion. Rest of that administrative time. तो आपका इनिशियली तो वर्बल एंड नॉन वर्बल टेस्ट का OIR हो जाता है, 1 hour it finishes, then you move out and you are organized for another 1 hour. This also finishes.
Oh, you mean to say
So
that and say the
yeah,
moment you report there, your 350 bunch of 350 people, after say 3 or 4 hours, 90% of them are given written warrant.
yeah, they are told thank you. You may have those qualities, but you're not being able to project. So please come next time if you want, right? And then they're given lunch and they're told thank you. Okay, the rest of them then go through those 4 days of other tests. Right. The first day is the psychological test. 4 tests basically, all in written in a room, and the reports are taken, and then by lunch you are off. Once you are off, lunch ke baad then the GTO takes on. So either in the afternoon or next morning, his set of those 9 tests start. And interviewing officer beech mein, whenever he finds time, he keeps calling one by one. Right? So he ensures that you don't miss any of the GTO tests, but in the balance of the time or the administrative time or maybe in the afternoons, the interviews continue, because the poor chap also has to finish off those 30 odd interviews in 7 days.
30 interviews.
30 candidates going through the SSB almost out of 300.
Okay.
30 have gone in for the main SSB. So the one interviewing officer has to finish off those 30.
Right.
So वो उसके पास भी बेचारे पास 3 दिन होते हैं, so almost he is interviewing 10 candidates per day. So you can imagine कि उस बेचारे के ऊपर भी कितना pressure रहता है. Okay, and the children, other than the tests, they are having a jolly good time. They are in their age group. There are all facilities there, sports facilities, basketball and other things. The dining halls are there. Everything is fully paid and free. खाना है, कैंटीन है, दोस्त लोग हैं, गप्पे मारने के लिए है. You want to prepare anything, actually there's nothing to prepare in personality test, but still you want to make friends, you want to loaf around, all that is perfectly done. And both these students are here. I remember both of them telling me after coming back, sir, it was good fun. We really enjoyed for those 4-5 days.
Okay, thank you. So let me go to, I think Surabhi. Surabhi has been to SSB 3 times, and one time she cracked it, right? Okay, out of that.
No, she has cracked 3 times.
All the 3 times, wow.
She has gone 5 times.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Surabhi, can you just share your experience? How was it for you?
Okay. So well, there's always a ball. SSB is fun. SSB is the most memorable part of your life. This is something not only I, but all my friends say. Does not matter whether you are recommended or your conference out or whatever it is, unless you are screened out. Screening out teaches you nothing. But once you go through the process, I think it is the best personality development course which is there in entire world. because 5 days of self introspection where you are getting to learn a lot about yourself, where even if you get recommended or you get conference out, you get to learn a lot about yourself. 90% of the students are screened out, and that is because of the population that we have. A lot of candidates apply, and then few cannot make it through the screening. It's quite ambiguous as well. But then you are there 5 days. You are tested on your psychology. You are tested on your group behavior. That is your GT, group task. You are tested one-to-one interviews. It is called Mansa, Vacha, and Karma. So, what is your subconscious, what you speak, and how your actions are? If these three matches, and if these three are in line with the official like qualities, and you don't need to have all 15 OLQs. Few OLQs are taught to you in the training academy. But if you have what it takes to be an officer, if you are adaptable and if you are trainable, you will get easily recommended. If you have the gist to learn, they will teach you everything and they will take you in. And this teaches you a lot about yourself. Also, again, the point that sir mentioned, that you are with your peers, the people of your own age. So that is a learning process in itself. When you're interacting, you see everyone is having only 24 hours. But how well my peers, my mates are utilizing those 24 hours, and what more can I learn from them? So there is one girl, she is like 23 and she is already a manager in a MNC. So how she achieved it, and she is also living her passion. She is following her hobbies. How is she managing her time? So things like those you learn in those 5 days. The testing ends in first half of the day. So mostly first day is your psychology test. When we talk about the SSB process after screening in, first you get your psychology test. Psychology test is completed in 2 hours. It starts around 8 approx 8 a.m. in the morning, and then 2 hours it would be done. And then you have the rest of the day, so you can do anything. You can interact with your friends. There are a lot of sports facilities also available over inside only, so you get to do that. Then from second day, your GTO task, GT ground task, and then your interview starts simultaneously. So you're given slots. When is your interview? So interview it might last something around 45 minutes. And then other than that, you have all the day, and then your ground task will go simultaneously. So does your words match your action? How do you perform in a group? How do you perform individually? How do you perform in pressure? How do you handle all those things? How relaxed you are? So these all things comes in your ground task, and it is fun. It is fun. You're playing around with your friends. You're having a group discussion. You're having a good discussion with your friends. You're having progressive group tasks. You're having individual obstacles. So it is just like you are going to some ground and you are playing with your friends. Ground task is similar to that, and the assessor is judging you on that basis, how good a team player you are. So the entire process is fun. Nothing but a
Okay.
joyride.
Fantastic. I hope.
Thank you, Vijay.
Uh,
Vijay,
yeah.
sorry.
Yes.
If you would like to give one more minute to our teenager sensation, Hitakshi.
Yes. Sure. Sure, Hitakshi. Yes.
Yes, so talking about my personal experience, I always say to everyone that those are the best 5 days of your entire life you'll ever experience. Because after screening, you realize that the people who have got screened in, they are mostly the same mental level as you are in the